Keith Hillier's back after a week off. Welcome, Keith. Some great racing in Queensland yesterday.
Oh, there was indeed, and we did see, without doubt, Bruce, the best filly in Australasia, Slight Chance. She won the Queensland Oaks. She went into the race as a winner of almost $1.5 million, and she emerged as clearly our best.
Wayne, would Keith get an argument with you there? She's now won 6 Group 1 races.
Yes, no, you get no argument from me, Bruce. It was a great performance by Slight Chance yesterday. She was clearly better than the opposition that she was opposed to yesterday, but it took a brilliant ride by Shane Dye to secure the Oaks for her, because she had a wide outie and he went across the face of the field at the early stages to pop her over onto the fence. The stewards took exception to it. He said that Dye tightened a few up as he was going over towards the rails, but then he got her to relax beautifully, gave her the run of the race just behind the leaders, and then got a miracle split as they straightened up. But the acceleration was there. She really showed a great turn of foot and she dashed away from them. She's a great filly. They love her up here, I'll tell you that.
Yes, but Dye fell out of favour, Wayne. Dye, Dittman, Hall and Graham Cook all outed yesterday.
Yes, there was a little bit of a problem at Eagle Farm yesterday with several of our top boys running foul of the stewards. Now the procedure is, and these jockeys hold important mounts in the Stradbroke-Brisbane Cup Carnival next weekend at Eagle Farm. They have 3 days to appeal. Final acceptances for the big races are taken on Tuesday. They can accept their mounts and then they will receive, well, it's almost odds on that they will receive a stay of proceedings allowing them to compete at the big Stradbroke-Brisbane Cup Carnival next weekend. So I think their engagements are pretty safe at this stage.
OK, so, but still a major story there with 4 of the top riders in Australia all being outed. Let's go to the Oaks. Dye has a beautiful run all the way. Slanchivar, the disappointment, sitting outside the leader, and Slight Chance parked in the box seat.
Down the side, 900 out from the judge, and the leader is Philomena Link Salanchivar. Slight Chance third the rails. Dye might need a touch of luck shortly. Rambunctious going around them with Daisy Do. And a hug tracks up behind that bunch. Lady Clouds on the rail from Miss Lazarus. Royal Tiara can't get in, still 3 deep from Sioux City Sue. Christiania Bell, Sounds of Bounds, Honolulu. A long way back came Madam Mustin, followed by Summer Queen, and Brittle dropped to the tail of the field. They're on the corner in the Oaks, 500 to go. Filament's first for home. Slanchivar second, Rambunctious third. Slight Chance going to go for the run on the rails. Is there enough room? Dye get through on the rails on Slight Chance, and she's coasting 300 out. Slight Chance went with the lead from Filament, Slanchivar, Daisy Do, and a hug and Royal Tiara from Lady Cloud. But Slight Chance raced away with 100 metres left to go. Yeah, she's home, Slight Chance. She's well clear. Royal Tiara's making up a lot of ground late, but this has been another great ride to Shane Dye. Slight Chance wins the Oaks. Second, Royal Tiara tight for third.
And horses that do well in Brisbane one year keep going back and doing well again the next year. Shane Dye was an outstanding ride. He spoke to Paddy Welsh after the race.
Yeah, she's just a class above them, there's no doubt about that. It's just a shame she couldn't win the 3 Oaks. She was very unlucky second in Sydney, but there's no doubt she's the best 3-year-old filly in Australia.
Good ride too.
Well, you can do it on those horses, you know. I had a lovely run last week and couldn't get the breaks when it should have gone my way, and I've got no doubt she would have won last week had the breaks gone my way. Today the breaks went my way and she won.
So Shane Dye very happy about yesterday, and trainer Bob Thompson was looking ahead, looking to the spring and even richer races for Slight Chance.
Oh, she's earned the rest, you know, but our ultimate aim was to bring her up here. She thrives in Queensland, and to winter her in Queensland. She's won the QTC Oaks for us, which has been a bonus, and she'll go out to Benwaran Lodge now for about 6 or 7 weeks. Come back with the ultimate aim being the Cox Plate in Melbourne, which is the goal that we're going to set for her.
Well, she ran well in it as a 3-year-old filly, and Japan Cup's also been mentioned. What about the Brisbane Cup, Wayne? The O'Shea Stakes yesterday appears to have been a pretty good guide.
Yes, I'll agree with you on that, Bruce. There were several top cup trials out of the O'Shea Stakes. None better than the winner, Dark Tsar, because he drops dramatically in the weights. He's back to 53.5 in the Brisbane Cup, and he looks as though he's had his preparation timed to a nicety. He had no luck in the Winfield Cup at the Gold Coast, and his run yesterday was a beauty, flying home that last little bit. He's beaten Sub-Zero at 2,800 metres. He's never won at 32, but I think we'll see him as the winner of the Brisbane Cup next Monday. He's my pick, in fact.
The Gold Coast Cup was won by Royal Magic, who narrowly beat Bolzar. But yesterday, Royal Magic started favourite and finished 12th.
Yes.
A length to Mr. Brooker, Air Seattle between runners, Prince Hayes the fence. Royal Magic's a long way back between horses, Dark Czar going around them wide. So too is Diego as they come up to the turn. Silk Ali shuffled a long way back. So too is Fountain Ash from Barbat, Delcia, Mac Roberts second last and Demerit last. On the bend 450 out in the O'Shea. Dipman's gone for home and Irish Roared. Anything possible went up on the outside. Cool Affairs got the run on the fence. Karaoke chimes in with Donegal. Miss NASA Rocket behind those from Mamselle Padu. 250 to go and anything's possible. Reach the lead. Cool Affair the inside. Look at Air Seattle trying to weave through and between horses. He's the charge of the Light Brigade. Cool Affair the leader. Air Seattle's out now. Air Seattle is flying and Dark Czar's down the outside. Air Seattle, Dark Czar. Or maybe Dark Czar a nose to Air Seattle. This is almost a dead heat.
Flashing finish there by Dark Czar. And Wayne, as we take a look at the market now, he's been elevated to equal favourite with Royal Magic for the Brisbane Cup. What did you think of Royal Magic's performance yesterday?
Well, Bruce, I thought she was struggling a little bit as they straightened up. He had her under the whip, but then she was really working into it. You see, she's a dyed-in-the-wool stayer. She needs the distance, and then when she was really starting to get up a full head of steam, she ran into a little bit of a problem, a traffic jam there, so I wouldn't be disregarding her. They looked the top two chances, but great trials also by Karaoke and NASA Rocket. I thought they both raced well, and they'll drop appreciably in the weights in the Cup.
And Keith, a quick comment, Dark Czar, do you think the 3200, as Wayne's mentioned, he has beaten Sub-Zero at 2800?
Yeah, I think he'll do it, Bruce. It's a strange return to Brisbane for Dark Czar. He cost only $700 as a yearling there. Incidentally, yesterday's win was the first in Brisbane for his trainer, David Hayes.
Yes, I ran into him in Adelaide this week, and he had high hopes for Dark Czar. He said he'd had a setback after his 3-year-old career, and he felt the horse was on the way back to his very best, and he certainly proved that yesterday. Qantas Cup yesterday brought a couple of horses to the fore, both trained by John Hawkes for the Stradbroke. We're talking about the winner, Overpitch, and the third-place Deposition.
Minyama trying to get between horses from another drive. Ensign Hewitt's out off the track. A length of Friends Venture a long way back, so as Overpitch, and then towards the rear came Deposition and company with I'm Jenny, Simon Stad, and last of all, Madame Valletta. On the bend 500 out, Latham Bay 2 to Victory Dice. Wonder Bucks Pride, he's had the run of the race. Then Roman Senator Surtees on the inside from Facile, another drive, Minyama. Jack Pill to the outside as they turn for home, and Ensign Hewitt's a long way back with Friends Venture. Bucks Pride's going to go between these two leaders at the 300. Bucks Pride burst between Victory Dias, Latham Bay. He's Overpitched the outside from Roman Senator, and Friends Venture coming late. Overpitch got the Bucks Pride. Is Madame Valletta dashing home. Overpitch, Bucks Pride. Overpitch the outside's just in front. It'll win. Overpitch. Overpitch just beat Bucks Pride. Deposition, a big run third.
Some good runs here, Wayne, and I just wonder with Bucks Pride, he had a terrific run through the race, and he looked to be slightly disappointing, but he had to bullock his way through between those two horses. Had that split come more easily, I wonder if he would been able to get through. I mean, I just felt he expended a bit of energy trying to get through at about the furlong.
Yes, I'll agree with you, Bruce. I think it made the difference between winning and losing because the margin was only ahead. Had he swept through and got away from them, Overpitch may not have been able to catch him. I thought Deposition's run was a beauty as far as the Stradbroke is concerned, although you'd have to take into consideration the sectional times of the race. 34 for the first 3. The backmarkers had to run on strongly, and that's exactly what Deposition did. He's a real chance in the Stradbroke next week.
It's coming to 8 to 1, Overpitch to 15s. Tell us the latest about the favourite, Never Undercharge at 7 to 2.
Well, when they took the first acceptors last week, he came in as number 21, his first emergency. Now, he needs one to drop out between now and final acceptance deadline on Tuesday. It seems as though that will happen, but he's a 7 to 2 favourite for the race, and he's not in the field yet.
You'd be slightly nervous, wouldn't you, at this stage? But, well, is there a discretionary power there that they'd place him in the field above a horse that's qualified in front of him?
Yes, the QTC has discretionary powers to do that.
Have they ever used it?
They've never ever done it in the past. There was a case about 5 or 6 years ago. Bart Cummings had a horse called Broadreach, and he was in sensational form. He was a borderline case for the Stradbroke, but they didn't put him in it.
Oh, this is the 20th century, isn't it? Surely a 7 to 2 favourite deserves a run.
Well, I think he does, and I think if he gets a run, which he will, I'm sure, he'll be shorter than 7 to 2 come race day.
Yes, as long as he draws a reasonable barrier, you think he'll be into about 5 to 2 or something like that. Let's take a look at the Sires Produce Stakes for 2-year-olds, and this is a pretty good horse. Remember, Slight Chance won this race last year. This one trained by Lee Friedman, Mahogany.
Gold Apple's a long way back in the field, followed by Waikika Mukau, Seascape, Super Snooper, Tender Catters, second last and last is Gershwin. 700 metres in the race to go. Fast Talker, 1 to Santiago Bell, 2 to Mahogany in a great spot, third on the outside of He's a Bull. A length and a half, Pimpala Sun, followed by Crash. Then came Mighty High Imperial Chief, then Saharandi, and Seascape's a long way back with Tender Cat and Oh So Canny as they wheel the bend. In the straight and the size, 400 metres to go. Santiago Bell went to the lead. Mahogany the first challenger. Pimpala Sun called upon. Then Imperial Chief, He's a Bull, Mighty High and Saharandi. At the 200, Mahogany went up to Santiago Bell. They've beaten off Pimpala Sun. Mahogany went to the lead with 100 metres left to go. Greg Hall pulled out the whip. Pimpala Sun about to run to second, but Mahogany is clear, close to home, and it's a good win on the sires. Mahogany beat Pimpala Sun, third Santiago Bell.
You've had a chance to have a good look at him, Wayne, in a number of runs now. Do you think he may go on and develop into a spring-autumn horse?
I'm sure he will, Bruce. He's the sort of horse who makes his own luck. You see, they went 45.6 for the first 800 metres of that race yesterday. He was up mixing it with the speed in the early stages of the race, and yet he was able to turn it on again at the end. Now, Seascape is the sort of horse who gets back. He needs luck in his races, but he'll be improved as a result of that run yesterday. I think it's going to be a great clash between the pair of them in the Castlemaine Stakes. And Mahogany, by the way, is eligible for a penalty. Whether he gets it or not is at the discretion of the handicapper.
Fair enough. Keith, any other highlights or lowlights around Australia yesterday in racing?
Well, firstly, Bruce, and the last word on Brisbane, Lee Friedman said in Melbourne yesterday that he might miss the Brisbane Carnival next year with a big team because he feels that the New Zealand strength is just too much. They're bringing their best horses over here while Southern trainers are taking up the ones off the top, saving their best for the spring. So Lee might change his direction. But in Sydney yesterday, Bruce, there was an amazing set of circumstances, a set of circumstances that I thought was dangerous for racing when stewards lodged a protest, a belated one. You know, I'm a great believer that stewards should have the right to lodge a protest. But the circumstances were in race 2, where a fourth against second protest was heard while watching the video. Stewards decided that the interference was caused by the third horse. So they put their own protest in, and they upheld it. They would never have done this had there not been a protest, because the horses would have been weighed in, correct weight would have been announced, and that the placings would have stood. So if racing is going to have trial by video, there must be a time for it, and the time for it is before stewards have a look at that video and get a second chance to see what they really should have noticed in the first place.
All right, fair comment.